Well, moving on, ladies and gentlemen, our next session will navigate the global regulatory landscape, a critical aspect of global business expansion. Moderating this session is Sean Stephens, CEO, Tree Frog Accelerator, designated organization. Our fourth panelist is Marco Bersani, Business Immigration Partner, Italy at D-Globalist. Please keep the applause going.
This is going to be a really exciting panel. They gave me a panel of lawyers to speak to. I'm kidding. We're going to have fun today. Our goal today is to try and explore the global regulatory framework of moving to various countries. Now, before we get started, I just want to give some context here for myself. So I am not a lawyer, so the only person on this panel who is not. I got to meet everyone backstage, and these are all brilliant and remarkable people in their own right. And they all have a different perspective from a different country on the earth about how easy is it to work with the selected government and or culture and or country in general in order to move your business there or work with that business or expand to that country, etc. So as I sit here looking out amongst all of these remarkable companies here, there is a question, which is which country in the world would be the best to start expanding to if you haven't yet? And so my theory was that I'd just get some big sticks and let these people go at one another with the sticks, but instead we're going to have a conversation about it. And to set that context a little more, in the world right now, there are countries, I think all of the countries here are examples of this, where the birth rate is not enough to keep the country growing, where their gross domestic product will actually decrease over the next 10 years if they do not find people to bring their businesses to those countries, to bring their technologies, etc., to grow their economies. For example, I'm Canadian, so the Canadian's going to win in this panel, by the way. Just kidding. But in Canada, we know that we have a 1.6 roughly birth rate, which means we need people to move to the country in order to be successful. We also know that over the next 5 years, every year, 1 million people are going to be leaving our workforce as a result of the dynamics of population change due to what we call the baby boomers, which is post-war births. As a result, it's important that we attract business to our country, both in terms of technology, in people, etc.
Hello everyone, this is Marco Bersani from Italy, an immigration attorney. And yes, for also responding to Sean, yes, Italy also is facing the problem of decreasing of population. The good thing is that Italy offering, a really appealing destination for entrepreneurs and for who wants to start, a startup. So this is a good thing. And Italy is what I recognize a really good country where you can live, not beside, the good food, of course, but the welfare is very good. So for you as entrepreneurs, but also if you have family members that want to join with you. So for sure, Italy is a really, really appealing destination. Later, I will briefly explain you all the benefits, the advantages to invest in Italy and to open a company or a startup in Italy. So yeah, for the moment, I will say that Italy for sure is the best country where to invest and move your business.
So let's get started at a really high level, which is how easy is it to actually set your business up or set a business up in your respective countries? And then how easy is it to sort of get the business started with banking and with all the other pieces? So anyone in this room, if I just wanted to go to your country first and start expanding there, what would that look like? How easy would that, and how long would that take?
Well, in Italy it's also pretty easy, as like in Spain. You can just establish your business online or through a power of attorney, for example, or you can just come in Italy. You can just enter formally as a tourist. So what is really needed, but it's pretty simple to get it, is a tax code. So generally, when you open a corporation or a limited liability company, they generally ask you also to be registered for a tax code. But it's, talking about things that it takes maybe 1 hour to the relevant office, so it's really easy. For opening bank accounts, yes, this can be challenging in some ways if you've never been in Italy. Not impossible, of course, but since 2 years, I think is a European regulation, so it's the same for all European countries. The compliance from the bank is really more severe now. So it may take like 2 months, for example, in Italy to open your business bank account or personal bank account. In some ways, there are some exceptions, to be honest, because if you apply, but I will talk it later, with the golden visa, you can have some benefits to also open a bank account. But besides this option, if you just want to start your business and open a bank account, it takes time. For the company information, actually is, as I said, pretty simple, just simple bureaucracy. So let's say in 1-2 days, your company is formally exists. So then running the company is another business, so we will talk later about it.
What is the government doing to make it easy for the 200 amazing businesses in here to move to or work in your country? So we have Italy and U.S. next. Who do you think is more open-minded? We're going to go with Italy, I think. We'll leave the U.S. to last.
Yeah, no, Italy is really open-minded, to be honest. Actually, you need to think that Italy was the first country in Europe to introduce a legislation for startup, so in 2012. So I can say that Italy was a pioneer on this side. So there are also, yes, some benefits to attract people, entrepreneurs, especially for startups, to be honest. Because, for example, in Italy, if you open a new startup, so it's the first time you open a startup, you can have a really tax relief, really good tax relief. You have like a tax credit for 30% for all the investment you do into your startup, of course. You also have additional benefits if you invest in particular areas, like rural areas of Italy. So it really depends, of course, on your needs. But for sure, Italy is a really, really open-minded for immigration, and of course, as I think all countries, to attract, people to invest, to grow, and of course, you will add the country to also growth. So another thing I think is beneficial because, later, before we talk about the banks, when you want to take a loan, for example, for startup, you want to take a loan from the bank, you have a tax-free loan and interest-free loan up to 80% of the loan. So Italy, there are many details. I don't want to go too much in detail, but there are a lot of regulation that is still, under progress now to make Italy even more attractive. Also, if you have a startup like investing into green energies or sustainability, there are also new introduction from Europe too now. So there are, day by day, there are also news that, not for the moment, but, every year that passes, new implementation are made. So, for sure, Italy is also very open-minded to attract businesses, to attract investors. So this is, of course, what I think.
Great answer. So I have a question that's not on this sheet, so you're not prepared for this, and I apologize in advance. But I'm actually interested in, if I'm a business and I want to access other markets, which country is going to give me the best access to the most markets in the world? You want to answer that? Does Italy want to throw down?
Yes, I want to be quick, actually. So I want to be transparent. So it really depends on your needs. So if you want, for example, to invest in real estate, and just make an example. Of course, Italy is really appealing because of real estate, for touristical places, for the place that you can find, the house you can buy. So this is just, or for hotels or something like that. So if you want to invest in business for hotels, for tourism, and so on. So it really depends on your needs. It's difficult to say which country is the best. It really depends on your personal needs. So what is important is to make your due diligence, and depending on your needs, what you want to do. Of course, you have to think that, yes, you can establish your business, but what if one day they want to reconnect with you? And of course, what happens to that country? Is the country stable or not? So there is no a really simple answer to your question. It really depends on the singular needs. So yeah, I think every country has some benefits, some advantages to attract business, but what is important is you. So what are your needs? And so, you are the only one that can select the best country for yourself.
Amazing answer. So I have another question. So if I want to move to your country and I have to deal with the government, is the government going to help me or get in my way? And I realize there's some truth that needs to happen geopolitically right now in sort of different places. But what about tax advantages, legal difficulties? Is it going to be a problem, or are you going to pave the way for my existence and make sure my tax is low? What does that look like? Anyone want to throw in on that?
So, for responding to your question, so will the government help you? Yes, for sure, definitely the Italian government will help you on tax perspective. What I think is very important, beside all the advantages you can have, especially if you open an innovative startup, so all the advantages that I briefly explained before, what I think is very, very important is one program that Italy introduced a few years ago, which is a so-called lump sum tax regime. So basically, if you are a high net worth individual and you move to Italy, beside the money you're making worldwide, so you set your tax residence in Italy, you just pay a flex tax, so 200,000 euros for all your worldwide income. This is really appealing. Sounds maybe a lot, but it's not. It's very appealing. We also we process a lot of entrepreneurs that move to Italy with, talking of course high net worth individuals. This is really attractive because, for all your worldwide income, you know how much you will pay, and that's it. Beside your income, beside what is your income. So of course this can be attractive, of course, if this is your case. And I think it's very, very important also to consider when we think about how the government will help you. If you think to move to Italy, you need to think, okay, but how I will live in that country. So I think one of the I think that is really well appreciated by everybody is that if you come to Italy and if you move with your family, for example, because you set your headquarters in Italy, you have, an excellent healthcare system, which is almost free in Italy, which is paid by the government. So, there are also for educational system, university and so on. University is not free actually, but it's very cheap comparing to other countries. So you need to also think about it. So it's not just from business perspective, which is important, of course, but if you want to move, and you want to move with your family, and you want to be, really assisted by the government, for sure, Italy, Italian government, we are very, how can I say, we are really care, about the concept of family, helping people, and to be open to people to come enjoy the same benefits. So I think this is another thing to consider also when talking about how the government can help you.
Love it. So every person in this room running a business has a very simple idea in the back of their head, which is, what is the shortest path to the most amount of money? And so when we're talking about potential different countries that we can move to, or not just move to, but open up markets in and work with, can we just speak to the giant elephants in the room, which are geopolitics? As a political scientist, and I know this is from the lawyer's perspective, life is about timing. Is this a good time in history to start in the market that you have? And if not, would you wait 2 years? Would you wait 4 years? Based on what you can see today, what's the right timing to start working in your country?
Say very briefly that investing in Italy is always, it's always the best time to invest in Italy. Not just thinking about Italy, but Italy as a door to access to, of course, to all Europe if you want to expand your business. So also recently, Italy decreased the investment amount if you want, for example, to talk about the golden visa, which is the investment by residency program. So just recently decreased the minimum amount to invest. And with the golden visa, you can actually do whatever you want. So if you want to also establish your business and move with your family, with everybody, it's not a problem. So I think right now is for sure the best period, especially for some sector, for example, for tech, because there are really a lot of tax incentives for tech, for incubators, for new innovative startup in tech. But also if you are, let's say, an example, because we recently helped an entrepreneur for real estate. After this period, with high inflation, high interest rate, so the market, the real estate market decreased in Italy, so it's a really good moment also to invest in real estate. So this is just a general overview, but for sure, yes, it's a good period now, and for sure in a close future, depending on your needs, if you want to invest.
Amazing. There you have it. 5 amazing countries, 5 amazing lawyers. Thank you very much for having us today, and we'll move on to the next round. Thank you.